This is Steffen Schmidt for InsiderIowa.com. Foreign policy has erupted again into the American political scene and the world scene. This time it is a civil war that's unfolding in Syria, and I'm sure you've watched that. And we thought that it would resolve itself and that either the Syrian government would win or the opposition forces would finally sort of convince President Assad that he should retire and resign and open up the country to more democratic government. But instead of that, what seems to be happening is the casualties are rising, the human rights problems are daunting, the massacres are getting bigger, and now there is a fear that President Assad will do what his father did about 50 years ago or so when there was an uprising, and that is his father surrounded the city where the uprising was taking place, brought in the military, and killed everybody in the city, literally just wiped them out. Apparently he's been getting some advice from his own family members that he should follow his father's footsteps and take care, especially in one of the cities where the uprising is most intense right now, and just surround the city and kill everybody in it. Apparently his forces have in fact sort of surrounded the city, so there's a great amount of fear that he'll do that. President Obama is now under a lot of pressure to devise some sort of plan to put pressure on the Syrian government to desist, to either quit or to stop using military force against civilian citizens. And this puts President Obama in a difficult situation because he and the United States really don't want to get involved in a Middle Eastern foreign policy situation in addition to the ones where the U.S. is already involved, which is trying to stabilize Afghanistan, trying to salvage something from the United States involvement in Iraq, which in the aftermath is proving to be a real tragedy. The U.S. is shrinking its embassy in Iraq, which is the largest embassy in the world. We thought we would be there for a long time with a lot of diplomats and others, and apparently things are not going well. So it's a difficult situation for the Obama administration to get the U.S. involved in Syria. On the other hand, we are pushing diplomatically. This week the Security Council was supposed to censor President Assad and essentially put pressure on him, but the Russians and the Chinese decided to veto it and not to support that. And so the United States and other countries, including other Middle Eastern countries, are now stuck with a very tragic situation in Syria, and they're trying to figure out how to deal with it. I think the United States will probably pull together an international coalition and try to at least evacuate some of the people who are being killed, provide some military support to them perhaps, and maybe even provide, if it becomes necessary, some air power, maybe try to use smart bombs and drones against some of the military equipment that President Assad has deployed against his own people. I don't think the international community is going to abandon the people of Syria to the kind of massacres that are likely to come down the road. It has already been a big enough human rights issue that I don't think in 2012 we can put up with governments literally exterminating big portions of their own population. I'm not sure exactly how this this is going to unfold. I have a feeling that the Middle Eastern countries who are very concerned about this, the Arab League and some of the Gulf states and others, will play a bigger role in the case of Syria than they did in the case of Libya and Egypt, because I think the Europeans right now really don't have any interest in getting themselves involved, as they did in Libya, in another international military and diplomatic initiative. They're having enough problems with their economy, trying to stabilize some of the European countries that are on the verge of bankruptcy. So I have a feeling that the Obama administration, together with some of the Arab countries who are very disturbed by all of this, will put together some kind of an initiative to separate the forces in Syria from the civilian population and try to mediate that and bring about some sort of resolution to it. For Obama, it's a very risky business because the Obama administration is looking at a presidential election where it does not want another foreign policy dilemma to be in the middle of an election, and so they're working very carefully on how to address this issue. But I think they will. I think Secretary of State Clinton is interested in putting together some sort of package of support for the people in Syria who are suffering so much. We'll keep an eye on that, and as it unfolds, I hope we can talk about that again. This is Steffen Schmidt for InsiderIowa.com.